recording. So, let me just check. We are recording? We are recording. Yes, we are recording. Hello! So, welcome to the technical community call on the 2nd of September. It's been a while because people have been on holiday and things like that. So, without further ado, we will get into the meeting. We generally start with announcements, of which there are none, apart from everybody seems to have been on holiday. Welcome back, everyone. The next items that we usually come up with are upcoming work or the priorities or what have we been doing for folks in the core team. So currently there are only two on the call. That's myself and Andrea. My report is basically I've been on holiday. I went to Norway. It was very good. You should go to Norway. The fjords, they're very crinkly, and Slati Bartfast did a very good job. The Norwegians are very friendly, and the food and drink, though, is very, very expensive. Beware of that. But what am I going to be doing next? Apart from catching up with work stuff, I'm going to be doing some more PyScript data science related investigations and some neural network library things that I've been doing. But essentially, I want to also be working on event related things as well, and we have to do our OKRs as well, planning for the next 3 months or so. So I'll be doing that. And Andrea, what have you been up to? How have you been? Where did you go on holiday?
I went to the major lake in northern Italy, and it was fantastic, especially because so I live in Milan, which is a chaotic city, like any other big city in Italy or in the rest of Europe. So in at the lake, our daughter could go around and just freely with her scooter, tiny scooter, and she has a lot of friends, summer friends, I will call them, because she meet those friends only during summer. So it was lovely for her, lovely for me, lovely in general, because the weather also was wonderful. And it's close by Switzerland, so it's not that hot like it is usually in southern Italy. But yeah, it was a pleasant and a relaxing vacation, and I loved all of it. And then I spent the rest of the vacation days and everything else in my hometown, because I'm trying to fix my some apartment that I inherited somehow. I'm sharing too many details, but basically it's a constructing place, so a building progress, and I was there feeling like an architect, like not a software architect, like a proper architect, telling, "Hey, that's bad, that doesn't work," and probably everybody hates me about that. But yeah, it was good to be there, and lovely. Then I came back. Nicholas was away for his Norway vacations, and what I've been up to. So was away. I thought, okay, I still would love to have some proper approval on PyScript, o- our PyScript GitHub account and everything else, and so I thought, what is it that Nicholas usually doesn't approve? And it's part of the inner stack that it's not Nicholas' fault. It's actually because it's part of my GitHub account, and so I thought, okay, let's create tests and move forward with other things that are behind the scene, making our stack work. So in the agenda, I put Firefox Atomic, and maybe I should share my screen so I can walk you through quickly these things. And touch screen that works.
Let's just see if I can remember
What's
how to make
Firefox
this work.
Atomic about? Is it working? Tell me yes,
I'm
please.
just waiting for it to come through. Oh, yeah, okay, I can see Bugzilla.
Mozilla. Yeah, that's the thing. So we have a lot of workarounds for Firefox mostly, and I as you can see, this was open 4 years ago, and so we found all the things that maybe are not working, and I can scroll forever. But basically, at the end of the day, there is this back and forward between what's expected and what's working, and at the end of the day, um, uh, there is a way to prevent Firefox to create an infinite loop out of just-in-time compilation. And I don't know if you can see this, but basically somebody investigated what's going on, and the just-in-time compilation is creating this kind of loop. Now let's focus on this for a second. Um, this is a constant value which is accessing the view. The view is a memory view in Python. It's a typed array in JavaScript. And so it's accessing this once, and it's doing a while value equals 0 atomic pose. And this is basically a way to idle while you're waiting for a view to and its buffer to be updated. That I've debated, like what's going on. So why are you accessing these only once? Of course, this is so the just-in-time compiler in Python is creating. Sorry, in Firefox is creating an infinite loop because, of course, if this was 0 once, it's gonna be 0 forever.
Yeah.
So this is completely pointless, and that's the reason Firefox wasn't working. So with our logic. So long story short, I trust them when they say if you use proper atomic load view index, blah blah blah, the just-in-time compiler doesn't have a chance to do that to inline the infinite loop. I still believe the infinite loop inlined is something that Rust will complain out of the box, and I have no idea why JavaScript just-in-time compiler will think this is cool. Let's write, let's do this. Let's write this, translate this in WebAssembly or C or whatever that is instructions. So we created an infinite loop, and everything is fine. Anyway, I believe there are reasons behind the scene, and so this was fixed, and the performance penalty in every other browser is not so important. So I would say 1 to up to 5% performance penalty, but until we support Firefox, I want to do the best for all the browsers, and so that landed. That was one thing. Then I say file tree updates. File tree update is something that I want to show you here. So last time I demoed how to file tree, I used the how's it called? Gaze file tree UI, and I told you how beautiful this was, and I have this demo, and you can see the UI is perfect because I'm not a UI person, but what I've realized is that this UI is I'm using my tab. You can see basic highlighted. Now I press tab again. I have no idea where it went, and now I'm in imperative. So basically, this part, even if I click it, it doesn't respond to my tab. What does it mean? That is not really, at least to me, this is not super friendly in terms of accessibility. So I went ahead and created my accessibility, and you can see the highlights, and I'm using enter. I'm not even moving my mouse to open, close folders, and then I can click files, and then, well, that
Oh,
file
you're
has
using your
nothing.
arrow keys to move in and out of the tree structure, yeah.
No, I'm using tab
Right, okay.
because
Yeah.
tab is what you are supposed to use for accessibility because
Yeah.
you have an ordered tree, and when you tab something, it should go, you see,
Yeah.
folder before, folder after, and the
Yeah.
folder before is
But if you
closed.
open
If I
that
open it
folder when you tab
and I
again, it'll
press
go to the
tab,
first.
it goes
Yeah.
through all the files.
Yeah.
So I created this. This is a web component, which I believe is one of the probably missing bits we have in PyScript. We don't offer many web components, and what's good about web components, you don't need to know much about it. It's just an instance, a reference to something that exposes some method, and that's it. And so I try to bring this to our gist demo. Sorry, Nicholas, and it's working. So right now I can still do this, and that was basically day one. I came back from my vacation, and right now if I do like another test, another txt, let's say, or actually let me make it a markdown, it doesn't matter really, test, and I save it. This is saving whatever you're seeing. It's saving on my gist account through my GitHub authentication token. And so it was that. And at the same time, I'm not sure this is um, needed entirely in PyScript, but I think a component like this, so that you can crawl your OS list there, and you can show what you have
Yeah.
in your virtual file system. We have nothing like that, and I think this is super cool, and this should be added to our PyScript web offer, because it just tells you, hey, this mounted path, show me what's in there visually,
Yeah.
and that's what it's going to do. And whenever you click something, you can also retrieve lazily the content of the bytes.
Yeah.
So in this case, the lazy counterpart is here, and is just literally a lazy argument that you need to pass to the component. And so you see it's taking time. Right now it's simulated, so it's a random data thing. I can click it. It could take instantly. It could be instant, or it could take forever. But I think this is needed for any virtual file system that is represented through WebAssembly-based runtimes. So we have this component now that we can use freely, and it's working in PyScript.com. So this is a PyScript.com project, and yeah. What's next? What did I put in there?
So hang on,
MicroPython.
yeah, hang on, just before you go on. So the important thing
Yeah,
for people listening at home, just to kind of make sure the context is here, is when you are running PyScript, there is a virtual file system inside the browser that the Python running in PyScript is using. It's where you're getting your Python modules. It's what's on your Python path and things like that. And the web component that you've just shown us is a way that we can use to actually reveal to the user what's on that virtual file system within the browser that's running their Python code and blah 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 blah. That's
yeah.
essentially the problem that we are trying to solve here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and if you
perfect.
think about the PyEditor, we could combine this widget with the PyEditor, like one beside the other,
Yeah,
and so that you can click and see what's in there, eventually edit,
yeah,
save into the virtual file system, and then run stuff
yeah,
somewhere else.
yeah.
Which I think is it's a good
It's
feature
a good thing.
to
Yeah,
have in
yeah.
general.
So my apologies for
Um,
interrupting there. So you were going to tell us
no, no,
about
it's
MicroPython.
MicroPython. Oh, I just landed in here. What was it?
That was the object.
Register
Yeah, yeah,
JS
yeah,
module. So we have this issue, and the issue is known, and the discussion is ongoing. The testing is in there. So basically, we cannot right now, let's say, use the latest MicroPython, which is awesome because it solves a lot of identity issues. So it avoids duplicating the same reference
yeah.
for the same JS proxy all over the place. And that's awesome. But at
So
the same time, we
is
can,
will work is the important thing. So if we're proxying the
yes,
same JS proxy twice, A is B returns true, like a triple equals will in JavaScript. So this will now work properly in MicroPython, right?
that's the
Yeah.
ideal goal. But at the same time, unfortunately, as a side effect of the change we
It's
pushed
broken the
recently,
universe.
and yeah, Damian probably hates me for that. So we can from PolyScript import yes, and if you here I'm manually recreating what we do when we register a JS module. Yes is a primitive, but nope is a function. And so import yes is fine. It's gonna be print true. This is also fine. You just import the namespace. In this case, is PolyScript. It could be PyScript. And if you print polyscript.nope, it's fine because at
Yeah.
that point you are importing the module and the resolution of polyscript.nope happens after. What you cannot do anymore with the latest MicroPython is from polyscript import nope, which is a function that does nothing. It doesn't expect context, nothing, and this fails. And so we are working on it. So that's the good
Yeah.
news. And but it took a while to nail down the issue and to provide a perfect example to reproduce what's going on
Yeah.
in here. Indeed, I'm not using PyScript at all. I'm using just the bare minimum bootstrap example from
From Damien. Yeah.
MicroPython WebAssembly PyScript latest port.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we are on it. And so be assured that sooner than later, we're going to have the latest MicroPython with even less memory usage and hopefully, as a side effect, even faster bootstrap and
Yeah.
overall
It's worth
interaction.
it's worth pointing out
Done.
that we had a really good call yesterday with Damien, who's
Yeah.
going through the checklist of things that we've asked him to do. He's also fixing these things as well. So work on MicroPython continues. So we think that given Damien's timelines, he's on holiday the rest of this week, I think. But we expect the kind of like the sometime in the autumn. Sorry, fall if you're American. Sometime later on this year, that we'll be able to have a version of MicroPython that does all the things that we've requested for PyScript related reasons as well, and the work with that is ongoing, and we have another call with him in a couple of weeks' time or something like that, don't we?
The good news for our users is that this doesn't affect anything we have right now. So
Yeah.
everything still works the way it used to. The next iteration it will bring the same, but it's supposed to be just better. So
Yeah.
better means better interoperability with JavaScript
Yeah.
libraries. If you use JavaScript libraries, better performance because there's less memory handling on the MicroPython side. So everything is just matches and the references are the same because one surprise some library, if you especially if you import third-party libraries, you could think, hey, is this equal or is this
Mm.
these exactly this other reference? And when the answer is no, you're gonna create a lot of there is a extra code not needed when the
Yeah.
reference is the same.
Yeah.
It's still gonna work, but the reference is not the same. So you're just gonna move and copy over all the things. And these days, many people are talking about zero copy operations, and this should be once we fix this, we should have close to zero operations on the MicroPython side of
Yeah.
affairs, which is, I believe, a great news. So users shouldn't feel much difference, but in terms of correctness and memory usage and targets, including mobile, it's a huge thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's an improvement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last
Cool.
but not
Okay.
least,
Yep.
yeah, we have, and this is one of my tasks that I've been waiting for too long. We have in our in our PyScript.net, we have our examples, and our examples are all, of course, in PyScript.com. And our examples are, let's say, outdated,
Yep.
and that that's on me, I will say, because when we create or implement new APIs, new features, new things, we should be sure that the example showing how to use proxy, anti-gravity, bokeh, D3, volume, whatever these examples do, um, is is using actually the latest and is using the latest best way to do things. And so I'm going through all these examples and a promise I made to myself is I'm gonna update all these examples by the
Yeah.
end of this week, and all the examples will use at least the latest PyScript, which is 2025 2021 and not 2024 something that I don't even remember. But I'm going through these examples, and
Yeah.
so hopefully this will help people with questions, and hopefully we will have less questions around how do I do this when you have so many examples how to use packages, third-party libraries, JavaScript libraries, including this is called um, WebGL ecosahedron. Probably the title, I don't think it should be changed because this is historically a good example. But basically, this is using 3JS libraries. So how do I use 3JS
Yeah.
in PyScript? There you have an example with the latest 3JS from as a JavaScript module, and you have the latest PyScript, and you have everything up and running. But this is also um, so the good news, I'm working on this. The bad news, or not the bad news, but the discussion news or something
Yeah.
to in the items later on in
Is what
our
we should do
agenda
with it. Yeah.
is to discuss how best to proceed around this,
Yeah.
because I feel like we and I don't want to already talk about this. So this is me
Yeah.
right now
Okay.
about what I've been up to and where I am right now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. So since you've been talking, we've been joined by Dan and Fabio. I don't want to put you on the spot. I noticed that Dan is also on his mobile phone, so he might be driving. I don't know. He could be on holiday. Who knows? But it's an opportunity for you to just tell us, what have you been up to, PyScript related. So I don't know, Dan. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, hey everyone. I think the main thing we've continued to work on is this use case of data science apps in the browser. So we've had some recent discussions on proxy support and kind of working through how we want proxies to work on PyScript.com. So we're continuing to meet weekly on that and work through those use cases and improve that overall proxy support.
Cool.
With Martin and the rest of the team. So it's been good.
Cool. Okay, that was a quick summary. Fabio, how are you? You've been on holiday. Tell us where you've been, first of all. That was the first question.
It's been a busy summer. Been been all over the place. Italy, Brazil, Mexico.
This is your
cruising.
international man of mystery lifestyle that you have.
I wish. I'm getting old. There's no more mystery. It's
tell me about it.
But I've been getting to do a lot of interesting things around AI stuff, AI running on Edge, experimenting with PyScript and other things around Edge AI and smaller models and things like this. Also been doing a lot of experimentation with Martin around, possible patterns and new features and things around PyScript.com and the overall offering, how it ties to the rest of, Anaconda's offering and whatnot. So busy summer, but really good. Happy that we're everyone is kind of getting back into the, well, happy and sad, I gotta say, that we are all getting back to our regular schedules and vacation, because there's a lot of exciting things, but at the same time, I'm getting old, so enjoying the non-working time way more.
Yeah, tell me about it. Shut up, kids. leave me alone.
Yes. Oh, actually, and I have a lot of. Well, we need to catch up. I'll be in Europe next week and the following, so better timing for us to chat.
Yeah. Are you going to be around for the C Python core sprints? Are you coming to those?
No.
Right. Okay. Because I know there are some Anaconda folks, but I don't know who are going. I wondered whether you were one of them. But okay, cool. Right.
Yep.
Okay, because it's like 40 minutes drive from my house, so
convenient.
Yeah, it's like, of course I'm going. Okay, so anyone else want to just say what they've been up to PyScript wise or not? Otherwise, forever hold your peace. Okay, Martin. I clearly I was kind of reading you in there. But,
I know. Yes.
I didn't want to put
Is
you on
there
the
any-
spot though.
Is there anybody, hint, hint, Martin, would you like to speak up now? So, not much. We've been doing a bunch of other stuff for the R&D group, but last week, just a brief thing. I used Briefcase to build the PyScript.com CLI. So instead of just being for people that needed, previously the PyScript.com CLI, you had to pip install, or because we haven't even got a Conda package yet, which we're going to fix. But then, so basically you had to create an environment, do all that. And I was like, well, we're using it for a course this week. And we're like, well, wouldn't it be nice if you just had at least on Mac OS and Windows, nice installers. So we thought, well, if only we had a tool for that. And and we do. It's called Briefcase.
Yeah.
And it worked great. The hardest part, as always, the actual Briefcase packaging side of things, to package the CLI, took all of 20 minutes, if that. And then the rest of the day was spent doing the Apple developer signing part. Which certificate goes where, put that in your keychain, do this. Yes. So it was 20 minutes Briefcase. The rest of the day was Apple. It wasn't actually that long. But look, yeah. So keep an eye out. In the near future, we'll hopefully be releasing the CLI as a conveniently installable package for an operating system near you. So
that's awesome.
That's what we did.
Have you let Russ know this as well? Because he always.
I did. I posted on the Beware thing today.
Yes, right. Okay, I need to catch up on my Slack messages. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think it's important that he knows that folks are doing awesome stuff with Beware things as well. That's pretty cool. That's cool. Okay. Okay, so we're going to the agenda items now, and we only have two. The first one is mine, which is remember there's a PyScript FUN thing happening this Thursday. I'm going to be in London because I'm having dinner with a friend called Francis that evening, and that's just before the meeting happens. So somebody else, I hope, is going to say, yeah, I've got OBS installed and I will record the thing for you. Otherwise, it might have to be we'll just hang out and not record it thing. But of course, that means it's going to be the most epic PyScript FUN because it won't be recorded. But there you go. But just warning you about that, and hopefully see you on Thursday and bring something fun. Is all I really need to say. And then the second item on the agenda items for discussion are PyScript examples, what is relevant and what is not. Can I just give some historical context for people watching at home or who may not be Anaconda folk? So there have always been PyScript examples. They have throughout the history, 3-year history of PyScript, have been in various locations, but they have ended up as I think where they should be, which is under the examples user on PyScript.com. That's the most obvious place. But the person who was maintaining them, Madhur, was reassigned from PyScript.com to other things, and therefore, as is the way of things, when people move on and stuff, they've kind of not festered a bit, but do you know what I mean? They've become out of date because you always need to be doing code gardening and doing the weeding and the trimming and things, trimming of the hedge and things like that. So that is essentially what we're talking about right now, is some code gardening, right, Andrea? And we also need to make sure that we have MicroPython examples and we're using the latest versions of the API. Is that a summary of the context? A good summary of the context? Anything else to add from people?
Feels about right.
Yeah. Cool.
I do have a question. If Andrea, are you going to demo something? Do you want me to drop your ability to use the assistant?
I don't know.
Clippy. You mean Clippy?
I can do
Right
it
now.
now.
So for this demo is not relevant, but I might try to not show it, and that's fine. If it shows up, I just close it. So it's okay. Nothing too
Because there's literally one little thing I can do to turn it off, and then we can turn it on again on the receipt of let's call it €100 or something.
What, you pay him to
Let's
switch
see
it
how
on?
You're getting cheap,
I
Martin. You're getting cheap.
Yes.
So no, that feature is not my way right now for this agenda item. So don't worry, Martin. But thank you very much for thinking about me. And yeah, right now I don't see any of you except Marty for some reason. But
We're all still here. I can see you, and you're
yeah,
moving.
my
So yeah.
Discord is not discording, and
It's
anyway.
discordant.
All right, so I'm gonna share my screen again, so maybe that will fix everything because I won't see anyone anymore, and so oh gosh,
Right.
wait,
No,
what's,
the stream ended.
let me try
No.
again. Let me try
Yeah.
again. Okay, you should read the agenda items because that's
Yep.
what.
Okay, we can
yeah.
see them. Well done. We've got it.
Awesome. So yeah, PyScript examples. So first of all, thank you, Madhur, for all the examples, and or before Madhur, anyone that worked on those examples is awesome because those examples were crucial to showcase all the possibilities that we had. So these possibilities are okay, API proxy. This is something we're working on. I'm not gonna show that, but Altair, anti-gravity, bokeh, D3, volume. And like I said, I mentioned this before, but I didn't show you what's gonna do. And this is not my project. This is the current examples. And this is what we can do with PyScript. Well, credits to 3JS JavaScript library to be able to just create wonderful 3D worlds on the web and with ease. So the only issue we had is that with this example in particular is that we are using a very outdated version of JavaScript. Fortunately enough, we are not using anything particularly outdated in the Python side of affair, except we are importing stuff from the JS world, which is fine, except for 3. What is 3? 3 is a JavaScript module, so every JavaScript library or module should be not this on your page. Sorry, my bad. Should not be a globally leaking thing on your page. This should be a proper ECMAScript module that you can import through the PyScript terminal, so that you go and you do. I cannot edit this, of course. You can do. Wait, I accidentally already patched that and fixed it. So you can do JS module.main is you run from the CDN the JS module and you call it 3, so that you go in your main.py thing. You don't import 3 from a global leaking thing. You just import 3 from PyScript JS modules. So these are the changes and the better ways to move forward and to interact with the JavaScript ecosystem that I wouldn't say recently because it's been there
It's been
for
around
a
a
while.
while. Yeah.
Yeah. But right now, all the examples are using like let's bring this old CDN global pollution thing on the page and just use it as it is. Unfortunately, that doesn't work or doesn't scale with the present and the future of how web pages work. So everything is a module. like it is in Python, to be honest. So you import stuff from a module, you import stuff from a folder. The folder case is something that JavaScript maybe one day will manage to fulfill. But on the web, you understand a folder is not crawlable by default, so it's a different beast. So on the web, you have a module that contains all the things that you need, and you import from that module. And in this case, few changes, like 3 from JS module that I defined as a proper name. I could change this name and call it just so it could be 3, but it wouldn't be as good as the imponent 3JS that impact that is having on the web. So I'm not doing this, but at the same time, this is working with our ways of loading modules, and most importantly, is working with the latest PyScript that we can offer. My question around this topic, and I know this is a community call, but at the same time is a great venue to talk with my peers and discuss these things. We have a lot of examples, and they are all cool. I wouldn't say there are. So let's New York City taxi panel DAC-GL. So let's see how it works. And this is all awesome. But what I'm missing, or what I'm wondering is, okay, it's gonna take a while because it's gonna fetch a lot of data, and I haven't tried this before, so probably this is gonna be a demo effect. But I have something on the page, and I have something behind the scene, which is canvas drone. And probably what we are not seeing is just the map of New York City, but we are seeing real time where the taxis are going. So we have these awesome demos, and at the same time, I'm wondering, all these demos are either importing packages and using packages, or some demo like the ICO Zahedron is importing JavaScript libraries. And I'm wondering, is this the best we can offer? Because most of these demos, so Matplotlib and Pandas, they do the same thing. So Matplotlib is gonna import Matplotlib and show you that Matplotlib works. But what is it showing really is that you can import a package and use the wonderful PyScript display function. Everything else is not PyScript. So I start wondering, while I'm at these, fixing all our examples to, oh, sorry, not fixing, updating all our examples, should we keep all the examples that repeat the same story? Because from PyScript import displays, the only thing that we are importing is this demo. And if we check pandas, it's probably gonna be the same story. So I checked the pandas demo. There's a lot of PyScript TOML, which is about instrumenting packages, and the main.py is not gonna. Okay, in this case is using PyWeb, which is also something that we need to change, because PyWeb right now is PyScript.web. PyDOM is basically the page we are offering out there. I'm not sure it's one-to-one mapping. So this is not an updated demo, just for clarity. But in here, we are using display and PyWeb. So I believe all these demos, because of course, demos are cool, but at the same time, they require maintenance. Should we provide one-off use case, like I want to use display, I want to use PyScript.web, I want to use 3JS? Should we reduce the scope of these demos so that they are more meaningful in terms of topic? Like, how do I import this thing like pandas, matplotlib, whatever it is, and display it on the page? We can be covered by just one example. And how do I import a 3JS library from the web, from npm or from the web ecosystem, and use it? And we have another example. And how do I do PyScript file system, PyScript storage, all the new things that are currently not in here. So here there is a repetition of similar patterns, and I don't want to say these demos should go. I'm just thinking in terms of examples that we show, it should be by topic. Like this is the topic. Use display matplotlib or canvas or pandas things, display CSV, display whatever you want, use JavaScript module, so there is room for improvement, in my opinion, and this is my question, to answer topics instead of showcasing always the same thing that is importing. The code is cool and everything else, but it's importing basically everything from third-party libraries, and from PyScript is importing just one thing, which is the feature, which is display, or one thing which is PyScript web, or one thing that is the ability to put in your TOML JavaScript modules.
Okay.
And so this is my question for the team.
Okay. So if you stop sharing the screen, you'll be able to see. So Martin has very patiently had his hand up several times. And actually, I was an idiot because I put my hand up and then realised actually you can't see what we're doing. So
no, I couldn't.
So Martin, what you see, I've been on holiday. Martin, floor's yours.
Yes. That's it. Yes. That's my. I agree. Yes, we should do all of that.
Okay. Well, no, I have an addition to that.
My real answer is yes, and so one of the things that we has been on our to-do list for ages, right, is to curate the examples properly and put them into collections, because we do have collections there, right? We thought, okay, we could organize it better, but if you look now, because the standing joke we've had is you've got the hello world example, and then your next example is 3JS and dodecahedrons or whatever. You're just like,
how do you draw an owl?
You're like, wait, what? I just did hello world 2 seconds ago, and now I've got this 3D web world going on. And so one of the things that we've talked about and just never had time to do is, yes, what we want is like curated, put it into the collections, like, hey, getting started collection, and how I import a JS module, how I do this, how, all the basics of the actual APIs that we offer. How do I do storage? How do I do a file? How do I do this, right? And so, and then we could have like different levels, maybe, beginner, but then things like the pandas thing, I think, like Andrea says, they're kind of repetitive, but if they were in like a data science thing, the point about those is not showing a PyScript feature. The point about those things is
using that data science thing in PyScript. Yeah, exactly.
So I think definitely we need to curate them, have like beginner examples, so you're not going from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour in one example. So
okay, so can I respond? And then, Andrea, I see your hand up. So I have two things. The first thing is a little bit silly. Fabio's wearing a t-shirt that says spaghetti on it. And then I notice he's been given a bowl of something. And I'm like, oh, Fabio, he's got spaghetti with it. And then he starts pouring milk on it. And I'm like, no, surely you can't have milk on spaghetti. Anyway, that was going on in the background and making me rather laugh.
You don't want me to make any jokes about any nationality that will break any code of conduct.
Well,
there's no milk on my pasta and no pineapple on my pizza. And I stop here. Martin, I'm sorry.
Okay. So,
yeah.
So the other thing that I wanted to point out when you said yes, that I want to just address the maintenance or the maintainability sort of problem. Medor did a fantastic job. It's in PyScript.com. I generally work in the GitHub repository, not PyScript.com, for those sorts of things, if you see what I mean, with the documentation and what have you. And it would be nice to have like a single source of truth that was versioned and things and organized. And I don't know what the right answer for that is. my personal intuition is it would be great if this code was in GitHub somewhere so that we can version it and it's part of our source tree and all of that sort of stuff. So you get clone PyScript, you also get all the examples ready to go. But it should automatically, as part of our build process, that call the PyScript API or PyScript GitHub API should kick in and go, I see there's been an update, and pull the latest thing and all of that sort of stuff. I also love the idea of the curating them into some sort of taxonomy. This is a beginner level, intermediate, advanced. This is for PyScript features, or this is how you achieve some sort of intentional thing like data science with pandas and blah 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 blah. So we should definitely do that. So I think this is ripe for interesting big changes as well. That's all I'm going to say. I'm basically agreeing with you, Martin, and just trying to say the scaffolding that we build around that to make that as easy as possible is important, because my attention hasn't been on PyScript.com. My attention is generally on GitHub repositories, and so how do we kind of build those bridges so that process, as part of making a release for PyScript, everything gets updated in the examples automatically as part of the build process, and etc. So I think that's going to be some sort of like grunt work for us to be able to do. Andrea, you've had your hand up for about 3 or 4 minutes, so I think you should go next, and then Fabio has his hand up. I don't recognize that as well, so if we do that as part of the discussion.
Right. First of all, I love the Martin hint around collections, because our examples should also showcase the ability to have collections, which is a feature that I personally haven't used a lot, and definitely yes, that's why I'm saying I don't want to get rid of those demos, because those demos are cool and needed for people thinking, okay, I know how to load a package, but I want to load matplotlib explicitly. How do I use that, or pandas and everything else? So absolutely, that should be like how to use, or even as a topic. I don't know if collections have tags or anything like data scientist related libraries, or it's gonna be easily more complicated than it should if you listen to me. But at the same time, yes, definitely, all I'm trying to say is that I can update all those demos, but at the same time, we're not some demo is missing. And what I would love to have as a part of integration with our documentation is that if we say we landed a new API, here the link points to a fully working demo that shows how the thing is supposed to work. I feel like we've been me at least, I've been a bit sloppy about that, because we landed a lot of features, but we didn't we wrote some code on our docs that explains how it works, and we try to explain as much as we could in our docs how it works. I think we did an awesome job in there, and that's Nicholas to prize. But at the same time, I personally didn't think about, because also what Nicholas said, we don't have an easy way to integrate our new APIs into PyScript.com examples account artifacts, and I think that's crucial for us for maintainability, because otherwise it's me every now and then. Right now, that's what I'm doing to check what is in there, and I'm creating a copy of all those projects, and I will file somewhere a merge request or an updated Word document that states what's changing in there, and why we need those changes to show that you should use the latest, and you should use these primitives, and you should do something else. So I think there's room for improvement all over the place, to be honest. And at the same time, I don't have any strong opinion about how that looks like, but the idea of providing beginner, intermediate, advanced usage of PyScript is actually I think it will be welcomed by our community, because because also in Discord we have literally the range is the most basic question how the web works and why Python cannot run natively on the web, up to without any shame or blame to anyone. It's just a legit question, up to the how do I make my worker integrate another domain or something like that. It's just like this. So definitely we should think about it, and I think none of these examples should be lost. So I don't want to erase any example because there was work behind and the work is valuable. And unless the API really changed and nothing works anymore because everything changed, and that point is maintenance burden, and probably we should get rid of it. The bokeh, the single bokeh example is using a very old version of bokeh. The API used in bokeh is not working, and the our latest is not happy about it because it's using latest pyodide with latest bokeh, and so it's and at the same time, do we want to showcase a legacy broken bokeh version of in that space? Probably not. So it's still a matter of pros and cons, I believe, but definitely.
So just as an aside,
I can say it makes
just
sense.
just as an aside to what you were saying, within Anaconda we have these things called OKRs, which are like the things that we say we're going to do. And one of my personal OKRs is to do for the next quarter or whatever, 6 months or whatever it is. I don't know, because we have to give it a timeline as well. Is to do this whole. Do the documentation, do the examples, get them properly done so that we have all of these things in place such that we have all those kind of like CI type integrations and stuff like that. So this is definitely going to be a big blip on my radar, not least because my bonus is linked to it. So there we go. Fabio, you had your hand up, matey. Sorry, you've been very patient.
No, you're good. Thank you. I just wanted to mention that what both things actually. This, in terms of improving resources and how we tell a story and workflows to users and stuff, is very much in the radar of the R&D group, who's basically taking we reorged internally, and that's where PyScript.com lands right now. So that's very much in the roadmap for this group. And even more, the topic we were just discussing 5 minutes ago around GitHub integration, and basically the flow that we would like, where we code with our usual tools, our editor, and the version control being GitHub, etc., is in the radar for those tools. Like, we don't want, if users are not used to those and they're beginners and stuff, we provide the tools for them, like in the web with PyScript.com, with the right interface and everything else. But if you are a power user and you are already using your editor of choice, whatever it be, and you use GitHub, etc., we want to provide integrations where you don't need to leave those tools. And it's the same for CI/CD type of flows and things that the PyScript team needs match the usual developer needs as well. So that's pretty much in synergy.
It's always a balance, isn't it, Fabio? Because the world changes as well, so new things come out and blah blah blah. But just working out where there's grit in the gears and where we can start to apply oil to make it so that it works, like you say, for beginners. Go use PyScript.com. That is a wonderful answer that we can give people. You want to try PyScript? It's dead easy. It's free. Go do that thing. Oh my god, in 5 minutes I'm doing awesome things with PyScript, sort of thing. If you're a power user, the first thing, and I'm thinking of Chris at Tufts, so get integration. And you're going, okay, so but that takes a lot more care and requires a lot more attention because it's a more complicated domain, and we need to get it right, because if we release something that's difficult or it's important that we get that right, basically. But we're getting there is the important thing. So I think the message that we're saying, I think we're all aligned when it comes to these things need revising. I think we're coming to the end of the meeting, by the way, so I'm kind of just summarizing, I think we're all agreed that something needs to be done. I think we all agree with Andrea's points about how we curate those. There should be things about how do you do things with PyScript, as well as how do you do things, because I'm a Pythonist, I want to do data science. I think Martin's point about using the curation tools already built into PyScript.com is very important. I think Fabio, your comments about using the right tools for the right level of person is important. Now, we're all kind of power users, as it were. We all use Git on a daily basis, having one single source of truth. Wouldn't it be nice if we had some sort of integration so that you Git clone your PyScript repository and it has all the examples in there, but when we cut a release, these are all kind of like we hit the API, we have some sort of like configuration in there so that we know any new examples that we put into our examples directory will automatically feed through into the examples namespace on PyScript.com. There will be a new project created. It will have the right tags attached to it so it fits in the right place in the taxonomy, and we don't ever have to worry about it again. And it just updates, because let's automate the boring stuff. Is the important thing. So OKRs are a thing that are there to help motivate us to get stuff done. So like I said, I've got an OKR around this for the next quarter, 6 months, so I'm going to be working on that. And so I guess for the wider community watching this at home, this is a work in progress, and you've just seen the first step taken into the white virgin snow of this new field of endeavor. And enough mixed metaphors and pizzas with pineapples on top, or is it pasta with milk on it, or whatever it is that we're talking about. I think, is there anything else that anybody needs to say about PyScript that we've not covered on the agenda? Otherwise, we've been going for an hour, and I have a pub quiz soon to attend as well. Andrea, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, an easy one. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
hope you enjoyed your vacations. And
yeah, new school
let's
term at
get
Hogwarts.
let's get to awesome thing. Yeah.
It's like
Let's rock and roll.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner
Rock
of
and roll.
Wazam or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Wazaban.
Wazam. Abracadabra. There we go.
No, it's Abra-Wazabra.
Abra. Okay. You could tell we're getting to the end of the meeting when we're starting to make dad jokes like that. Okay, so I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to stop the video. Let me do that now.